Coaching. I was interested in coaching because I'd had some coaching myself. It was at a point where I'd experienced burnout in my GP job, and the coaching, I think, gave me the confidence to leave that job that I'd had for 18 years and kind of have a change of direction. So I didn't really understand what was happening with the coaching when I had it because I hadn't done the learning, but there was obviously something quite powerful going on. And then I was having a look at when I was having a break from being a GP, I was having a look at various coaching courses. And when you Google coaching, there's a lot of executive coaching stuff, which didn't really feel like me. So the fact that it was doctors made me think, I'm sure it's going to be more kind of um, more like what I would want. More about so I feel this is a bit mad being a GP, but I think it was the power of active listening and the power of silence and how much that can generate new thinking in a person because your kind of tiers of how much you're listening, I think it makes you realize, particularly in a pressure situation like in a consultation, are you really listening a lot of the time? So it's a privilege in the coaching space to generally have that time to properly listen. So I really liked kind of the new learning kind of in relation to medicine, but I really appreciated the sort of psychology part to it because I've never really done much psychology, but it's really interesting. And I think it links to medicine really well. So yeah, that was great. And I think I liked the challenge of doing something different because I've done lots and lots of years of CPD, but it's been very sort of medicine linked. And I think one of the reasons I had burnout was that I was very tunnel vision in medicine, and it feels really healthy to do something a little bit different as well. So yeah, it worked really well for me. I've not had a huge experience of online. I suppose the only experience I've had online is like online meetings, particularly when it was COVID. So it was quite transactional then. But yeah, I like your the number that you have, the nine plus you or Tom. I think we'd reflected as the group when now we've sort of finished the content that you form quite close bonds with people, even though you've never met them in person. And as someone who's middle aged, I think that's maybe the first time that's happened to me. So yeah, it's incredible, really, how effective it can be online. If you were asking people to travel, I made it work because I was working in the afternoon. Well, there's no way you could, do something else in the other half of the day if it wasn't online. And I think also just getting we were our group were from right across England, so there were so many different perspectives and things. So I think yeah, that enables that as well, obviously. I would say it wasn't definitely not the primary reason for doing it, but I feel like I know myself a lot better. A lot of the learning gets you to look inwards in order to progress with it. So I think that's really helpful. Um, and then I think something else is I think it makes you realize that because I've got a bit of a funny thing that I've been training as a medic for years and years and years, and then I've done this 6 month diploma, and that makes me a coach. But the way I'm sort of explaining to myself is that there's so much about coaching that is similar to GP in terms of the communication skills but developing that. So I think it's sort of shown me how many skills we actually have as a medic that are transferable. But I think a lot of medics, and I think the way medicine is, it tunnel keeps you tunnel vision, so it keeps you in the NHS, and you don't think about these other roles that you could do alongside it. And I just really believe in terms of keeping doctors healthy that to do some medicine, but then to do something else as well is the way forward. Because then I feel like hopefully, if I can get this right, that the coaching will kind of give me more of a nourishing thing. And then the couple of days that I do in GP, I'll power on through and I do enjoy it, but I don't think I could do any more than that at the moment. So yeah, I think the way that the skills I've got already, but also the way I've developed them through the coaching. Yeah, so a variety of different things. So I think in relate just in general in relationships with family and friends. Can think of my in-laws as an example. We don't have the easiest relationship, but just properly listening to them and kind of letting them talk about what they want to talk about. I had a much easier kind of 2 or 3 day stay with them fairly recently. So yeah, that. Um, I would also say not all the time, but when time allows, a little bit of it in the consulting room as a GP, asking patients kind of what they would like to have happen, and yeah, just things like that, which sometimes goes down okay, and obviously other times it doesn't. I'm actually having kind of nearly finished the course and you're just having to sort of amass the coaching hours. I think I've got about 7 hours still left to do. I am feeling really positive, and I actually had um, I sent an email the other day to somebody where I said I was at capacity for free coaching because I'd had a little flurry of volunteers, and let her know that I'd be finishing in the next couple of months, and would please let me know if she wanted me to get back in touch when I was qualified. And I said about charging that once I was qualified I'd be charging, and she came back and said yes, please let me know and I'll see whether I'm interested. So that was kind of the first response I'd had to her mentioning of charging. So that I think gave me confidence that, yeah, I probably can do this. So yeah, I would definitely encourage people to do it. I think both because of the self-development that you get. And I think, yes, some of us want to do some coaching and would like to coaching to form some of our income, but I think it can be transformational in life or the roles that you do. I think for, say, a GP appraiser, it's something like that. It's incredible because it just aids your communication on a one-to-one level. So yeah, whether you wanted to do coaching as part of your kind of workload or whether you wanted just kind of self-development and something really interesting, I think, yeah, I would really recommend it.